What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, Crypto Warriors? It's Ultra Crypto back at it again. Today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. What is security? The term security is a fungible, negotiable financial instrument that holds some type of monetary value. It represents an ownership position in a publicly traded corporation via stock, a creditor relationship with a governmental body, or a corporation, represented by owning that entity's bond or rights to ownership as represented by an option. Securities. We've heard, if you're in the crypto space, you've heard this term thrown around various different times for different types of cryptocurrencies, from Bitcoin to, I'm just going to top three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. We've seen that EOS paid a $24 million fine because the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, charged them with being a security. We've seen Tezos paid a couple $1 million fine again to certain investors because they said that it was a security. And we're seeing currently right now a ongoing lawsuit against Ripple, the company that holds XRP, about them being a security because the investor in XRP lost the equivalent of $500, and he's making a big stink about it. Whatever, I won't even get into that. But if you want to know more about securities, I'm not going to read this whole thing, just wanted to read the introduction there. Come to investopedia.com, check it out, and you'll learn more. Let's get into it. So this is from Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. Jokes aside, which are hilarious, we need to take a cold, hard look at how many countries are likely on the precipice of extreme inflation. That money printing, baby, that money printing, it's ongoing. I shouldn't say money printing, that currency printing is ongoing. Diversification into other asset classes, including crypto, could help stabilize markets in the future. This is just his way, I think, of telling people, hey, crypto is there, and it's another asset class you can invest in. So while you're getting those free stimulus checks, well, not really free because it's our own money. We're paying for it with our taxes. So congratulations, you paid yourself. Put that money into crypto is what he's basically saying. Is what I'm taking from this tweet. Go ahead, give me a follow on Twitter at StarterCrypto99. Next, this is from Bitcoin.com. Bolstering Privacy Human Rights Foundation donates $50K towards Bitcoin mixing development. This is a big deal because this is the Human Rights Foundation that's all about, well, it says it in their name, human rights. And they're talking about helping a developer. They gave a grant to a developer to help the Bitcoin network be a little bit more private. Because we've seen in the past where governments can, if they see that you're donating to a certain organization, and say you're in an oppressive government where you're donating to the opposition party, they could come and throw you in jail because you donated to that party that's running against them. And we've seen this over and over again played out in other countries around the world. Not so much here in the United States, they do other shady things, but there are ways to kind of intimidate people into sticking with the status quo, so to speak. So if there are more private transactions available on Bitcoin, then that would eliminate that. It would eliminate that intimidation and that freedom of speech when you're donating to certain organizations. So on June 10th, 2020, the Human Rights Foundation, HRF, launched a fund that is dedicated to the development of tools that make the Bitcoin network more private, decentralized, and resilient. HRF's initial $50K will be given to the UK-based developer Chris Belcher, who has been working on a project called CoinSwap. I don't like the fact that they doxed him and put his name out there like that. But it is a big deal, though, that they're able to donate, and they're starting this fund. They're not starting this fund. They started this donation via this fund. All right, CoinSwap implementation for massively improving Bitcoin privacy and fungibility. Fungibility is the ability, not knowing the difference between each dollar, and in this case, in each Bitcoin. So if I give you $1 and you give me $1, it's still equal to $1. And you can't say, I can't say that that dollar is dirty. It's a quote unquote dirty dollar. I don't know where it came from. It has a fungibility, meaning that I can use it anywhere in the United States or practically in the world, because US dollar is the world reserve currency, and no one cares. They'll accept that dollar, right? They don't care where it came from. The ability to have Bitcoin more fungible, it'll increase its use case more, and it increase its adoption more, in my opinion. And I have some highlighted section here. Human rights defenders and reporters around the world face increasing financial repression in the form of frozen bank accounts, restrictions on foreign funding, payment surveillance, and general difficulty in earning income and receiving donations. And just like I said before, is that intimidation factor. They can see where the money is coming from and close your accounts and things of that nature. And I'm going through a certain situation right now with my own bank because I got paid from a blockchain company. And also because every time I get paid, I take my money and I take it right out of the bank. I don't keep my fiat in the bank. I take it and I convert it right away to Bitcoin. I do not keep any money in fiat. Just like Max Kaiser says, if you keep your money in fiat, only the amount of money you're willing to lose. And I'm not willing to lose any of my money and any of my wealth. So this is why I transfer and exchange it for Bitcoin. All right. At the moment, the Bitcoin network is improving, but it's far from as usable and private as it needs to be, with a authoritarian. Oh wow, that's so authoritarianism. Wow, that was hard. Authoritarianism and surveillance on the rise in many countries. With more support, developers like Chris can make it possible for activists to receive donations and continue their important work under increased pressure. All right. Global law enforcement and regulators have warned against using shuffling crypto apps, even though they are not illegal. So although mixing apps and things like that aren't illegal, they'll try to scare you into thinking that they are. They're not illegal. It's just an app to mix the bitcoins, to make the transaction a little bit more private. So I definitely think it's a great thing. It's a great idea, and we will see 2 to 5 years from now if Bitcoin adopts a more private feature on it. Next, this is coming from Forbes. XRP isn't a security, declares former CFTC chairman. I'm just going to go straight to it. And here it is. I totally highlighted it. Chairman Giancarlo, Emeritus Giancarlo, who was deemed crypto dad. I never call him that, but people were calling him that. Following an impassioned speech he gave to Congress, where he credited Bitcoin for finally getting his kids interested in finance. And that's so funny. I have to talk about that little section right there, because here it is, the chairman of the CFTC. He's in government, and he's in government finance at that, because he's running the CFTC, right? And that's his life. But yet his children were bored. They didn't find it interesting. Finance is boring. You have to. It has to appeal to you in some way, shape, or form. And for me, that was through Bitcoin. For my children, who I always talk to about Bitcoin, whenever I talk about Bitcoin, I have to talk about the traditional finance in respect to Bitcoin. They find that part boring. But because of Bitcoin, they tend to have their ears open up more. So that I could definitely relate to that. All right. Is at it again, having co-written a detailed argument published this morning in the International Financial Law Review for why XRP, the cryptocurrency formerly known as Ripples, was also not a security. The only this part is extremely funny. The only part is he's no longer a regulator. In fact, he's on the payroll of Ripple, the largest single owner of XRP, whose co-founders actually created the cryptocurrency. Oh my goodness. I guess if you can't beat them, join them. This is the problem with XRP. The fact that there's a company that they could go after. With Bitcoin, there is no company that they could go after. They can't subpoena anyone at Bitcoin headquarters, quote unquote. There is no Bitcoin headquarters. They can't subpoena Satoshi Nakamoto. Although if they did knew who he was, they would have probably killed him or her or they. And this is the problem right here. But it's funny because this is exactly how the current regulatory system works. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And the fact that they have this gentleman who was a former head of the CFTC writing this paper, I think there is a little conflict of interest there. But hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Screw it. That's the way they want to play the game. Then we're going to play the game that way. If they want to keep saying that, if they don't want to declare that it's not a security, then we're going to get the people that wrote your laws, that enforce your laws, to write about why it's not a security. You can't beat them, join them. And I'm not mad at Ripple for doing that, and the executives over there at Ripple for doing that, for hiring Giancarlo, because they might as well have, if they want to push forward with this thing and have a declaration from the U.S. government in some way, shape, or form. Either from the SEC, the CFTC, the CBOE, the FBI, the AT, whatever. All these alphabet dudes, okay? If they want to get that clarification, they have to play the game. And I'm not mad at them. So there it is. There you have it. Crypto Dad, Chris Giancarlo, aka Crypto Dad, wrote a paper saying that XRP is not a security. Big news, and I think that's why the price has been up a small percentage today, while everything else was down. So if you look on, I'm not even gonna go there, but CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko or one of them, you'll see that XRP is in the green, everything else is in the red. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. As always, smash the likes, hit that subscribe button, notification bell to get notified when I upload new videos. And it's Sergeant Crypto, and I'm out. Peace.